After 70 fights, 10 wins by the way of knockout, here is the challenger, Vincenzo Nardiello. And in the red corner, the defending world champion coming from Panama and living in Highland. Tonight he's wearing white trunks with red and blue stripes. His record, 20 victories, 1 draw and 3 defeats. 16 wins by the way of knockout. His weight is 76.2 kilos. Defending his title for the first time, Victor Cordoba. For this WBA Super Middleweight title fight, the referee is Kenley Christodoulou from South Africa. The 3 judges are Ode Houghton from Denmark, Robert Weston from United States, and Jorge Guidera from Colombia.
So we are set to go now with the WBA Super Middleweight Championship. You're looking at the champion. He is Victor Cordoba from Panama, but who has lived in Belfast, Northern Ireland, oddly enough, for the last 3 years. Very good stare down here.
Oh, yeah. Interesting combination. Nardiello, when he came into the ring here, looked ebullient and anxious to go.
Smiling, laughing, even during the stare down. Vincenzo Nardiello, undefeated in 17 fights. Whacked 10 of his opponents out of there. As for Cordoba, 20-3 with a draw and 16 knockouts. Interesting to note, Cordoba turned pro in 1982 and did not win his first professional fight until 1985.
Okay.
Of course, he only fought once a year for those first 3 years, but he lost 2 of the 3 of them. Had 2 losses and a draw before he won his first fight.
And in a championship fight now. Both men southpaws. We're not used to seeing this in America, but I really believe there are more southpaws internationally. In America, so many of them get turned around. Nardiello taking it right to Cordoba. And both men are landing immediately. Barney Eastwood, who formerly had Barry McGuigan, the featherweight champion, the man who is guiding Cordoba's career, which accounts for his move to Belfast.
Must have had a big sale over at Tassel World, huh?
Yeah. Those are Vinny Pazienza's rejects on the Nardiello's shoes.
Right hand by Cordoba and a counter combination by Nardiello.
Boy, Nardiello came here to take this championship, didn't he? He is throwing good combinations, though. He has to worry about being countered by Cordoba.
Cordoba, pretty stationary target right at the moment.
Nardiello is doing a pretty good job of avoiding it. Well, there he got hit with a counter punch, but generally he has been moving his head enough not to get nailed too squarely.
I have the sense of Cordoba trying to measure Nardiello.
See, Nardiello is jabbing his way in. It's really giving Cordoba a lot of problems. He's having a hard time just teeing off on him.
More action in the first 2 minutes of this round than in the 11 rounds of the Cruiserweight Championship.
You know, even though Nardiello is the shorter of the 2 fighters and may have a little slight reach disadvantage, he's showing you that timing is what gets your jab in, not necessarily the reach and the height. Emil Griffith, a good example of a boxer years ago who was shorter than most of his opponents, but always landed the jab because he has such good timing. Gee, I wonder why I thought of Emil Griffith.
Yeah.
Could be the trunks of Cordoba, and I don't even pretend to understand why they say Griffith on him.
So we come to the end of the first round, and a very good first round, actually, for both men. The edge, perhaps, to Nardiello. We'll be back. The super middleweight champion in the WBA, defending against Vincenzo Nardiello of Italy. This fight coming your way from Paris at the Omnisport in Bercy, which is just a suburb of the city of Paris. First round, an action round. And again, you get the sense that Cordoba really looking to counter, looking to measure Nardiello.
Goes very low with those shots. Now Nardiello trying to go to the body. See the head movement of Nardiello, and Cordoba having a little bit of a tough time picking him off as he comes in.
Quick hands from Cordoba, actually.
Both men using the jab as a rangefinder to land the hook or the straight left. There's Nardiello doing it but misses with the left hand. Nardiello really not accurate with that left hand.
And there was a left hand. It came behind a right. Nardiello's in big trouble. Cordoba now jumps on top of him. Long way to go in the second round, and Nardiello continues in trouble.
And great body shots by Cordoba. Well, Nardiello fighting back. A lot of heart, but he's in trouble.
And finally, he holds on.
Yeah, that was what he should have done earlier had he been able to. May still be rocked.
Looks like he has his legs back. And there was a right hand, and there go the legs.
Well, you know, and I think you were right, though. He did until that left hand came.
6, 7, 8.
That was about a 14-second count to get to 8. Still 10 seconds to go. And it won't take a lot more, and the bell can't save it. But Nardiello is going to get through this round.
Now, at this point, he looked like he had his legs back. He really does. But boom, there comes the left hand by Cordoba. Down goes Nardiello.
Cordoba showing very quick hands, and he really turns his punches over pretty well. A lot of power.
And that left hand, a good example of what you were talking about, Barry. Very straight punch. Cordoba trying to go to the body, which he has not done that much. Nardiello really was trying to do the body work earlier. Now, the interesting thing here is Nardiello was the guy that was hurt, and yet he's coming forward, and Cordoba really needs to counterpunch him. And so, if Nardiello doesn't come forward, Cordoba can't really do much, can he? And yet Nardiello is the guy that needs the time to recoup. There's a point there, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, and it was a good one. I understood it.
Thank you. You're probably in the minority, but... Well, you can see the bruise around the right eye of Nardiello.
Yeah, and that
he took the straight left hand.
Really could get to be a problem, too. You saw him work on it a little bit. Actually, you didn't, but we did see him work on it between rounds. Halfway through the third round, Cordoba seems to be saving himself a little bit. He's got a nice jab.
Yeah, he really does. You know he's a counterpunch, but I tell you, I just think there's a good case to be made for him going after Nardiello. Because Nardiello's the kind of fighter that likes to come forward. If you make him go back, as we saw before, he's not equipped to deal with that. He just gets into his shell.
Cordoba does look to be loading up. To his credit, he does work off the jab, and most of the power punches come behind the jab. And there was an example, although he was short with the left hand.
That straight left should be able to get there for Cordoba if he would just work the jab and also maybe do a little body work leading up to it.
He brings that left hand very quickly behind the jab.
There it is, just barely missing.
They wanted to keep the punches up to Cordoba. Cordoba being very quiet in this round.
I can't.
So we are ready to go once again, round 4, and Cordoba, the champion, on the left of your screen, Nardiello in the yellow trunks on the right of your screen. The fight has been pretty much controlled by Cordoba almost since the opening bell.
In the first round, Nardiello had some good aggressive moments, but of course in that second, Nardiello was in all kinds of trouble. And had that knockdown not occurred so late in the round, I'm not sure Nardiello would have been able to continue. I think Cordoba might have been able to take him out.
Yeah, and Cordoba really kind of took the third round off.
He did, and really, when you think about it, it's kind of a crazy idea because he really had Nardiello in trouble right at the end of the second. You can see, though, that Nardiello has some respect now for Cordoba's punching power, not rushing in as he was in the first round. And see, Cordoba starting to back Nardiello up, I really think that would be a key to him in this bout. So that straight left by Cordoba coming over the jab of Nardiello.
And still Cordoba not doing very much in this fourth round.
It's a double jab. I think if Cordoba would double jab, he could get that straight left hand in.
He shows flashes of it.
A low blow by Cordoba.
What I do like about him is how quickly he brings the left hand behind his jab. There was a good left hand by Nardiello. And now it's Cordoba who seems a little wobbly.
Nardiello, of course, realized the trouble he got in before, so he didn't rush in after that left hand. Now Nardiello warned for low blows.
Not a bad round, though, for Nardiello.
No, he's had his moments, including that one real good left hand, although he hasn't really put that many punches together.
So we come to the end of another round. This one not a bad round for Nardiello. Probably did enough to win it.
Nardiello's best moments in the last round was landing this straight left hand to the head of Cordoba. And I don't think it stunned Cordoba, Barry, but it at least got his attention.
No, you're right. Looking at it on replay, it did not appear to really shake him nearly as much as I thought when he hit him with it. We start the fifth round now. Cordoba's going to have to do more, though.
Well, he is not throwing as many punches as I'm sure he would like, because he hurt Nardiello and had him down in the second, but no law that he's going to knock him out. See, Nardiello is a tough 25-year-old. He took some tough punches from Cordoba and hung in there.
Crowd reacting to not very much. Still to come, of course, our main event. Terry Norris, Jorge Castro for the Junior Middleweight Championship.
There's the right hook by Cordoba, and that hurt him.
Yes, it did. Set him up for the left hand, which Cordoba came back with. And Nardiello holds on.
We haven't seen the right hook hurt Nardiello before. Mostly it's been the straight left, but that one did. Look at this young man, though. He's tough. He came back.
And a good left hand by Nardiello. Backs Cordoba up.
Cordoba unable to capitalize the times he's had Nardiello hurt. And you never know, that could come back to haunt you in a bout like this.
Because Nardiello is showing a little bit of power himself.
Yeah, see, when you back Nardiello up, he just stops punching. And that, in my mind, that's what Cordoba ought to try and do. It's not his natural style, but he has done it on several occasions. Jab, 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 and just push the guy back. Go after him.
Headed for the end of the 5th round. Nardiello is showing a little bit of power, and he is on occasion able to back Cordoba up, but the crowd is going to react more to Nardiello than it is to Cordoba. There's not a lot of damage being done here. Coming to the end of the 5th round, and do not let the crowd really influence you. Now what you have to hope is, do they influence the judges? 6th round of a scheduled 12-round fight. This for the Super Middleweight Championship of the WBA. Nardiello in the yellow trunks. Cordoba, the champion, in the multicolored trunks.
Hard to keep all those alphabets straight, huh?
It is. And the WBA marches to its own
Yes,
tune.
this is for sure. Both of us are actually old enough to remember a time when there was one champion of every division. Which brings me to the infamous comment by Harry Arroyo, who was a lightweight champion, while Ray Mancini was. They both lived in Youngstown, Ohio. When they instructed at Mancini that there's a guy who was supposedly world champion in his own hometown, he said, "How many worlds are there?"
Nardiello again jumps on Cordoba. Does not do that much damage, but it does get a rise out of the crowd. And again, you really do have to mention that oftentimes that can influence the judges.
Yes, and they are reacting more to Nardiello's punches. And there's a good example. One landed, but the other didn't.
The other one landed on his arm. That was a good one. And that does get Cordoba backing up.
Okay, let's go.
Cordoba really is allowing Nardiello to kind of stay in this bout. He gets him hurt every once in a while, then he doesn't follow up on it. And I'm telling you, the key is to back him up.
No, but he's content, as you said, to let Nardiello press him.
And I will say this, Nardiello is having himself a pretty good round here.
He is, and he did the last round. Despite the fact that he was hurt, he jumps all over Cordoba again. He's just doing more, throwing more punches, and ostensibly getting himself right into this fight.
And he's not getting hit with counterpunches by Cordoba, and he's got to be careful because he was hurt before, but this young man is showing he's not afraid.
He's certainly not giving Cordoba room to land the jab, and Cordoba's done his best work off the jab.
Nardiello has simply been quicker to the punch here than Cordoba.
Now Cordoba drives him back. Now he has him in that situation that you had talked about.
Whenever he pushes him back, Nardiello has trouble.
But did Cordoba do enough to salvage the round? It was a good early round for Nardiello. Victor Cordoba, the champion. Vincenzo Nardiello, the challenger. Fight is getting a little bit closer here, Al.
Well, it is. I think Nardiello may have won a couple of the last few rounds. Now, granted, the second round was probably a 2-point round for Cordoba. But even given that, wouldn't be outrageous to assume Nardiello is within striking distance.
This fight taking place in Paris, as we said, at the Palace of Sport in Bercy. Barry Tompkins and Al Bernstein, your loyal and obedient servants. Nice domination again.
And that was an excellent left hand by Nardiello.
And I do believe that did hurt Cordoba, and he gets driven into the ropes again.
What Nardiello is doing that he was doing early in the first round that he didn't do so much in the second is he's not getting hit with counter shots because he's moving his head as he's coming in and punching. And he's keeping Cordoba so busy with those punches that he can't counterpunch. That's not Madonna in the background of that crowd, is it?
I don't believe so, no.
No. Just checking.
It is interesting, though, to watch the people in the background, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you know what? I guess maybe because it's in Europe and it's intriguing. We're used to seeing certain people here. It is interesting. Cordoba's left hand has continued to slip lower and lower, and that's why Nardiello, who is pretty quick-handed, has been able to get the left hand in. Oh,
there was a big left hand. That hurt Cordoba.
I mean, that punch is coming constantly.
And that's how he got there with the right hand.
Okay, what NBA hoopster does Cordoba look like?
Mark Aguirre.
There you go. Detroit Piston forward. Former Maverick.
We are on the same page here, aren't we?
That's right. And now you were saying to me about Nardiello that he looks like
the winner of the Sean Penn look-alike contest, right?
So I guess we'll find out now what would happen if Sean Penn fought Mark Aguirre.
So to recapitulate, so far tonight we've seen Rafer Johnson, Sean Penn, and Mark Aguirre.
That's right. I'll tell you, Nardiello really, and let's not diminish at all what he's done. Down in the second round, hurt badly, hurt again, I believe, in the fourth or fifth, and now here he is taking the action of Cordoba and really turning this bout around.
Yeah, he really is, and there's still a long way to go, and you really have the idea that Nardiello is very much in the middle of this fight. 12-round fight. It's for the Super Middleweight Championship, and we'll be back with more from Paris, France, right after this. And we start round 8 now. Nardiello in the yellow trunks, Cordoba in the red, blue, and white trunks. Cordoba the champion, Nardiello the challenger. Nardiello has come on strongly in the last 2 or 3 rounds. Really made a case for himself after being down in the second round. Down and all but out.
He looked like he was in big trouble at that point.
And since that time, Cordoba just hasn't done very much.
He really hasn't. He hasn't been able to counter effectively. And he hasn't been able to land the straight left or even that right hook that later hurt Nardiello. And you have to wonder here, Nardiello with a lot more spring, a lot more, it seems really a lot more in his gas tank. Is Cordoba getting tired? I mean, those moments, like the one that happened in the second round, are what careers turn on. And for Nardiello, of course, the fact that he was able to stay in this fight, has been huge for him.
Yeah, and I actually was going to mention the fact that perhaps Cordoba used himself up too much in the second round. And then I thought better of it, thinking, well, it's early in the fight. This guy's a champion. But I'll tell you what, now that I think about it, and this is hindsight, maybe he did use a little too much of himself.
Well, and I'll tell you, he didn't use that much there either. So he did go after him. But if that's the case, then his conditioning might not be as superb as he'd like for this bout. Cordoba spending a lot of time against the ropes, Not where he wants to be. Again, the left by Nardiello, and that was a good one, Gary.
And it gets Cordoba clutching. There was a right hand, and now Cordoba's in big trouble. And Nardiello jumps on him. Cordoba smiles at him. That usually means, I'm hurt, thank you very much. There was a counterpunch by Cordoba that backed Nardiello up. Now Nardiello is in retreat. Well, an entertaining 8th round here.
Nardiello having a big moment for himself in the last round. Hurting Cordoba and blasting him against the ropes. Smile from Cordoba, but as you said, that's usually gamesmanship that means you're hurt.
Nardiello got the crowd pumped up at the end of the 8th round, too, as we start the 9th round. We're going 12. It's for the Super Middleweight Championship. Nardiello's fought a game fight.
He really has. You can't make too much of the fact that he was able to come back from being hurt several times early in the bout. Hurt badly in the second.
And still to come, of course, Terry Norris, Jorge Castro. That's our main event. That for the junior middleweight championship of the world. These are super middleweights.
Again, that left by Nardiello, that one just missing, but he's quick with that punch. Cordoba, I mean, at this juncture, you would think he would go after him. And again, as I said earlier, if he backs Nardiello up, he will find a different boxer as he has.
And the fact is, when Nardiello connects, the crowd reacts. And when the crowd reacts, you just have to think that it influences the judges, however slightly. But if it's a close enough round, the edge is going to go to Nardiello. So Cordoba, I would have to think, is going to have to do some business sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and the crowd notwithstanding, Nardiello is throwing more punches. So, yeah, Cordoba just has to be busier. Now, Nardiello is standing a little straighter up than he was before, which would make him an easier target. He was getting good head movement and bending at the waist for the last 3 or 4 rounds. Now he's a little straighter up. We'll see if that means Cordoba will hit him with something. And of course, in order to hit him, Cordoba has to throw a punch, doesn't he? And there, you see, there's that left hand by Cordoba. And you see how much straighter Nardiello is standing up. Cordoba would be aggressive. He could land the straight left hand.
When Cordoba works off the jab, he gets it done. So far, this 9th round, another one of those very difficult rounds to judge, mainly for a lack of action. Who do you give it to? We'll be back. Three rounds of boxing remaining in this one. We start round 10. We're going 12.
And boy, this could be a very intriguing decision, couldn't it, if it goes the distance?
Absolutely.
Many close rounds. Nardiello down in the second. But in the last 3 or 4, he has done very well. The last round was a real close one. To make a strong case for Cordoba getting that last round.
Nardiello undefeated in 17 fights, getting his title shot opportunity. Only had one fight this year. That was back in January against Jorge Morello. Went to a 10-round decision. He won it. Neither fighter has been very active. Only one fight this year for Cordoba as well. That was a 9th-round knockout over Christophe Tiozzo in Marseille back in April.
Tiozzo's a pretty good fighter, too, so that's a good win for him. Nardiello continues to take the action to him. And it's not as if he's hurting Cordoba badly, but he's landing, and that's what this is all about. Remember we said in the second round how he might, and then again in the fifth when he hurt him, or the fourth, that Cordoba might really regret letting him off the hook.
And it's really looking that way. It just seems as though Nardiello is doing more. And you get into those great intangibles again of ring generalship and aggression. And this is a fight that could come down to that.
Very easily. Cordoba is just waiting. He's been waiting a lot. Now, not much landed. In fact, nothing landed there. But as you said, the crowd would get excited. And, you know, he's punching, the other guy's going backward.
Which, when nobody's doing anything, is going to give the edge to Nardiello.
Precisely, yeah.
But Cordoba, for the past several rounds, with perhaps one exception, has just not done very much. And now he gets rocked with a combination again. So you have to think Cordoba is going to need a wake-up call over the last couple of rounds, despite the fact that he has the only knockdown in the fight. Two rounds to go in this Super Middleweight Championship, and Cordoba is the champion, and I would have to think he's going to have to do something.
I think Nardiello has come out and won many of these rounds, and just how many remains to be seen. But yes, I think Cordoba has to do something at least dramatic in these last couple of rounds.
And there was a left hand. That was a good shot. And that rocked Nardiello. It's been a long time coming. Nardiello in trouble again. And this time Cordoba jumps on him. And he's still in trouble. Still in trouble. And Cordoba gets on top of him again.
Nardiello doing a good job of tying him up there. Remember, he survived this twice before.
Long way to go, though. More than 2 minutes left in this 11th round.
Step back. Stop holding. Step back.
Now remember, thus far, let's go and tap the whole big left hand.
Biggest shot of the fight, and it's over. And so Cordoba did, in fact, get the wake-up call. And when it came time to do business, he did business.
Well, it was a quick stoppage. Why would they stop that fight? He got up well before 10.
Yeah.
I mean, why did that referee stop it right away? He's up. The man is up. That's astonishing. That is astonishing. I don't blame Vincenzo Nardiello for getting upset. He got up well. The referee didn't look at him even and stop the fight.
It was a very good punch, a crushing punch.
Yes, but still.
Not enough reason to stop the fight.
That's astonishing. Unless we look at the tape and I am completely wrong, which I guess I could be. Now here we'll see an excellent left hand by Cordoba. Now, okay, he's in trouble and he will go down.
Oh, he stopped it much too soon.
Oh, now he isn't even looking at the fighter. Now, Nardiello doesn't even get the benefit of the 8 count. He's up already. I mean, he was up. He would have been up about at the count of maybe 8 or so. Unbelievable.
The only thing I can think of is just before that, he asked Nardiello, "Are you okay?" I thought I heard Nardiello respond, although it was in Italian, that yes, he was okay.
There we see that the left hand landing again. No question. He was stopping the fight already. That referee was stopping him. Now, that's shocking. Well, Vincenzo Nardiello, not a happy camper, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, pretty bad stoppage.
I mean, he may have been knocked out after that, but I'll tell you what, does this look like a guy that shouldn't have had a chance to fight again? Now, granted, this is well after the fight was stopped, but even so, unbelievably quick stoppage. But this man's still champion.
Suddenly and dramatically. He came in with a belt and he will leave with a belt. It will be interesting, and I'm sure we're not going to be able to find this out, but it would be interesting to know what the judges' cards look like.